Hey guys, how you doing today? Okay, we are on our next part. As you remember last time, I've been kind of doing some stuff in here. As you remember in the last video, I took off her nose and her mouth because I wasn't really thrilled with it. So I'm going to take my mechanical pencil, and I like to use, this is a 0.7, that's my favorite, where it's not as light as a 0.5 and it's not as dark as a 0.9. When I'm drawing on my canvases, but you can use a number 2 pencil, you can use whatever you have, it doesn't matter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of extra paper that I have that I used for her dress. And if you've not seen the videos prior to this to see where we've gotten to so far, and right now I'm just going to mark just by look, the middle between the eyes. If you've not seen how I got to this process so far, I show it from a blank canvas all the way up to this part, and you can go back and look at my videos for that. For this specific painting, or I have probably 5 or 6 different paintings I've started from beginning till end. This one we're just doing a really cute little folk art girl. So I'm dividing in between, you know, I'm not going to worry too much about it, but so I know, and you can use a ruler. I just use this because it's straight, just so I know where I want to put my nose. So I'm going to lay it there, get it as straight as I can down, and do a little line right here, and a little line right here, so I can see if that runs about middle of the road, and it does. And if you want to be, like I said, very on point, use your ruler. You can definitely use your ruler. I'm just not going to pull that out right now, and I'm not really too concerned. And the pencil is great because we've used acrylic paint, and it comes off very simply, no matter what you use. So I'm going to put my, I erased the wrong one. So I'm going to put my nose right here, and I'm just going to kind of do just a little nose. I'm going to do it in pencil, and I'll go over it with paint, but I just want a little petite nose. Now, if you want more of a realistic nose, you can also do that. I happen to go like this, give her nostrils. And then you can bring up the edge of her nose, and these will be her nostrils right here, and we'll make them a little thicker. I'll erase my middle line right here, and you can give her that kind of nose. There are a million different ways to do it. Like if I erase this again, you see it comes right off, so it's all on what you want to do. I can see my mark is still about right here. So you can go in, I go in like this and do a little wave because she'll have a little smaller nose, let's say. And now put my nostrils on. And then that can go up from there, and you can maneuver that around. So she has a little bit of a smaller nose. And then this will change a little bit. And you want this to kind of come out from this nostril right here. And just give her a little, it would go up into the eyebrow. I'm not going to do that right this second. So, and you can also, if you want, do a little line over here, you know, just kind of, so there's a little bit of a, these are just different ways. So you see the bridge of the nose in both ways. I'm not going to be too worried about this side right now. And then I'm going to go in for the mouth. And we want a smaller mouth. I'm not going to do such a big mouth, but I want it to be in line with. And I'm going to give her a round tops of her lips. Bring that down. And bring the line in. I like these lips way better than the other lips. And there we go. Now I can see, I'm going to move you down just for a second with the camera. I can see when I look at it that if I lay it straight, this is kind of going up. I want it to be a little thicker there. Not worrying about my pencil too much right now. I just want that, and you can even take your piece of paper, put it down, or your ruler, and mark. So you get, and mark, you can mark it up in a square, it doesn't matter. So you can kind of see and make sure, see this is off too. With my hands, it's very hard to get, I really do have to use a marker, a ruler. I don't like to. Sometimes I'm on point, other times I'm not. So I just put my paper down and I'm just going to draw that across. I'm going to connect my lip here. And then my bottom lip. And like I said, you can use your ruler, you can use whatever you want. I'm doing it upside down, so it's a little bit harder, but I'm not going to fuss and whine about it. Now I'm going to do my bottom lip. I know it gets a little fuzzier as I bring it closer, but so then I'm going to go in. I probably need it back a little bit more. And then I'm going to go in on this side. And this is going to make it flat, but I'm not going to worry because I can fix it once I turn it the other way. So you see, now we're more even. And yes, that doesn't look fantastic, but what I'm going to do is take just these corners and I'm going to take them and round them, and take them and round them. And remember, you have texture underneath here, so it's not the biggest deal. And then now you just go in with your pencil, and because we're on acrylic, it makes it much easier. And you just clean it up a little bit. And remember, we're going to paint these on, so I just kind of want you guys to see how I do it when I have problems, because my hands do not work as well as I want them to, and sometimes it gets really hard. Now you can see this pencil, the eraser, is kind of grungy, and I really need to clean that off. And all I would do is use a piece of paper and just do it on a piece of paper till it came clean. But for now, I'm just going to go around this and clean it up with my other eraser, which is cleaner. And then go back in with whatever pencil you're using. You might not have the same problem I do with my pencil. It's because I use these constantly. And we're just going to leave our lips like that for now. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Now what I'm going to do is take a very thin paintbrush. We did our green eyes, remember. And I'm kind of close, so if it's blurry, I do apologize. It should be as clear as I can get it at this closeness. So I'm just going to use my paintbrush that I used yesterday. And I'm going to go over with a little bit more of my green. Now, I think I might want a little bit more of the darker green. And what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of the green, a darker green. You can see it on my brush. I'm going to put a little bit down. Let's move it over here, right here. And I'm going to take a little bit of water, and I'm just going to water it a little bit down, turn my brush so I get it all in there, and then tap it off because I don't want it to drip. And then I'm going to go in my eye here and just go over. And this is going to fill in all the spots. And I'll have to do this twice, but it's going to also be a little bit more. It's also going to let the other colors that I put on the bottom show through too, which we're going to highlight anyway again. But I want those spots to be filled in. And if, you just touch if you go outside the lines and you just touch and it comes right up. We're going to put white in for the pupil, so it's not the biggest deal. Remember, gesso is your best friend when doing these things. It's not, you just want to make sure that your brush has color and not too much stuff that goes running. Well, I can see here I have too much water on that one because I picked up all the color. So I'll go back into my dark green with my paintbrush for a second and just dip the tip in, and go around. Yeah. Like I said, if you go over a little bit, it's okay. You can always use your finger like I do to clean it up and push it in and then go over if you smudge in. And we're going to do a white around the eye, so I'm not worried about it. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes. And I'm pretty happy to see a little bit right here. I know it's hard for you guys to see. I just don't want to smudge the green I just put on here. Now I'm going to take the rest of this green right here, as you see. And I'm going to try. Yeah, it's working. Because it's watery. And you can even water it more, but I'm just going to hit it and it's going to splash. And I'll show you that if I hit it off my ring. I'm going to try to stay away from my face that I'm doing. But it's getting dried out and I'm not going to worry about it. Yeah, okay. So let me show you what I did. In the meantime, because my hands are so uncontrollable, I smeared a little bit of green right here in the forehead. So I just wet my brush with clear water, and I'm going in, and I will dry that, and that's gone. Okay? So I'm just going to wipe up that little bit of green that's left. Put her there. Rinse my brush, dry my brush, and let's move on. So I'm going to let those dry, and I'm going to lightly, trying to get my eraser clean here. Erase my lips. And you see how dark they are with the graphite. And I'm just going in one direction right now. And then I'm going to go in the other to get any of that off. And like I said, we can go back and touch those up. But I still want to see where I have my lips. So I want you to see. You can still see where I have my lips drawn. And I can see there's a little bit of pencil. I don't want all that graphite on there when I go over it, but I can still see my lips are drawn there. So I am going to stick with my small brush again and decide what color I'm going to do her lips. And I'm thinking, I'm thinking I might do the magenta. And once you make a decision with the lips, for the most part, you're kind of done. Once you make that decision. If you're not comfortable using paint, use a colored pencil. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to go in and I'm going to lightly trace where my lips are, where I can faintly see the pencil. Go back in, and I just touch it. I'm using my color that I used the other day, alizarin crimson, and I just touch it in just a little bit. And then I'm going to go and fill these in. This is just our base coat. And then I'm going to go in and do that bottom. And this is just our base coat. It's not going to look filled in, beautiful, perfect, because we're not done. We're just putting our base coat in. It's like we're gessoing. And remember, if you have any mistakes, we can go in with this thin paintbrush again at the end. I see this one needs to be a little bit fuller, so I'm just going to go out and build it up a little bit more. Okay. All right, and I'm happy with that. I'm not hating on it. So, I also suggest when you're doing paintings like this, I have a lot of people who I absolutely adore who do not want to be on Facebook, who do not want to post on YouTube or post the stuff that they copy or learn from me. People who have posted, I'm sorry, I had to move and adjust. People who have followed almost every single mixed media piece I've done. And don't like, I always say, post and tag me on Facebook or email it to me or, put it on YouTube and tag me because now Google, you can tag me and I can see what you put up and all these things. Do it on your YouTube and let me see it. And as many people that do that, I have probably as many people who say, I don't want other people seeing my art or my work. I'm doing this, I've not done this before, blah, blah, blah. And will show me, and it just is absolutely wonderful. It makes me feel so good. So I get so many emails and messages, and if you don't feel comfortable, I'm grabbing burnt sienna. If you don't feel comfortable doing that and showing everybody, then just message me. Message me your picture, like a lot of people do. And it really, it makes me feel good. And then people ask for my opinion or critique or what to do. And it makes them feel good because they're doing it. So right now I'm going to go in and lightly erase the nose. But you still want to kind of see it. Blow those out. Now you can do one of two things here. You can use a brown, I'm using burnt sienna, or you could use your colored pencils. If I was smart, I would have kept my colored pencils out, but I've been cleaning things up, and we all know that smartness is not what I'm good at. You just want, or common sense, I should say. I have none. You just want a little bit of brown, and it could be any color brown you have. I picked up burnt sienna. I picked up burnt sienna, right? And just kind of with your fingers, make it a point if you can. Just keep turning your brush and taking it to a point. You don't want it to be as dark. And go in with your eyes, go in with your nose, and follow very lightly. Probably should have picked a little bit of a better brush, but a little bit more. And this is not watered down. It's just the paint. And I'm just going to kind of roll it to a point. Believe me, I am always full of paint. And I'm just going to take one swipe so it gives me my track of where I want to go. And then you can see It just gives it the shade. And I'm going to go where I missed it. I'm going to get a little bit more. I just don't want it to be too dark. And you can use your, see, it's not grabbing for me. This is not the best brush to use. I wish I would have grabbed a smaller brush, but I'm like in now. I'm in. This one has like wild hairs everywhere. It's called Time to Get a New Brush, Kelly. Now you can definitely see. And let me just show you how I kind of made that way too dark. So I'm going to kind of go in. I'm going to wet my finger a little bit and kind of go in and push it. Because I don't want that there. And you can see it smearing. So I'm going to wet my brush. Give it a dab. And see if I can lift this off enough. You see how I'm running the water? I'm kind of trying to stay away from the nose, but I'm running the water right there because it's too thick. It looks sketchy and I'm not loving it. But I like it down here. So I'm just going to kind of run that off. Take my paper towel or whatever you use and dab it. Don't be scared. I know a lot of people write me and say, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I can't believe you did that. But you'll see as I do this. And like right here in the nose, I'm just going to push in with my brush. I'm pushing in to get that sketchiness, but I still want that line there. And I'm going to dab it. And I'm going to dab it. Okay, now I'm going to leave it alone. Was that the best brush to use? No. Should I have maybe searched for a better brush? Like this might have been better. Can you see the difference? Let's see. See how little? But we need a very good point. That's what I need. And I probably, if I would look like right here, right in front of me, there it is. And this is a 20 by 20 micro mini. See that? So I'm going to wet that and see how I can use that. If this will make a difference. See the point that it comes to after I wet it? And that's kind of what we want. Make sure that you make sure that you make the barrel. I can't tell you guys this enough. I've had so many people write me about this. Once you clean your brush and you're going on with another color with the same brush, always make sure once you rinse your brush that you are drying the barrel, because what happens is once you rinse your brush, this holds a lot of water. And not water that it sucks in, but just water on top. So then you go to paint, like you're going to see me do here, and then water starts dripping down and it fills in on your brush. And then it just gets on your painting and it could be a mess. So let's try this brush and see if it'll do what I want it to do. I just want to go up. Yeah. Yeah, using the right size does help. Although sometimes I don't have the right size, and sometimes you guys don't. So you see how that made a difference? I know it's hard, like jamming it up in your face, but I want you guys to really, see it, and I'm really, really happy with that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm trying to keep this at a decent time for you guys to watch, but I get carried away because that's just who I am. Now I'm going to go over the eyes. So we know our bottom of our eye is, and you just want to, and if it goes too thick, what do I tell you to do? Look your finger and push it in. Push it in. Just touch on it. Look your finger again. Make it a different one if there's paint on it. I really don't care if there's paint on it. And then just go in. And you can also use your pens for this. And I'll show you the pen But because I have all this stuff out and a lot of people don't have the pen, and remember, we're going in with going over to cover. But you definitely can use your Pigma brushes, your what is this? Your Micron. Let's see. Do this one over here. These don't like to write on acrylic. They drive me crazy. Sometimes they do, and they dry out very fast if you don't if you don't put the lid back on them, which I am so well known for that I could strangle myself. All right, that one's writing. Let's see if it'll write. Yep. All right, that one was just dried out. But you see how it makes a difference? And then you can just use this. And these are $1 something at Michael's. They are so worth it. It's called Micron 05 by Pigma. I think Sakura makes it. And it's a 0.45 line width. And you can see, it's, come on. See how small it is? And it doesn't say the color though. It's this color. They have several different color browns. And then you just go over your erase lines. And you can use any marker you have that's permanent. A Sharpie, awesome. They have fine point Sharpies. They have Bic Markets and Bic thin, fine point Bics. I have them. They're awesome. So you don't have to buy expensive things. I just buy these single because I like them. I like them in the different browns. I like them in the black. I like to have them around, but you don't need them. Now, okay, I showed you how to use any kind of brown marker that you have that's permanent. Now let me go back in with my paintbrush in case you don't have a marker. And let's do the eyelids. The eyelids, I just start, don't want to have too much on there. I start in the corner. And you can kind of see where the line is. And I just run it over once. And there's a lot of texture underneath there, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to kind of drag in whatever color is left on my brush there. Because it's her eyelid. And I'm just going to tap it with my finger. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'll tell you another great tool to have around, if I had it around right now, is a Q-tip. You can go to the dollar store and get the ones with the pointy ends. They're great to use because you can clean up all these extra marks. I don't worry about it. I'll go in and clean up when I'm done. I like enjoying the process more than worrying about this is right or wrong. Again, perfection and me are not friends. Now I'll start here. And just bring it up. And you can do this with the marker too. Now I went a little bit in the eye, which I'll show you up close. But that doesn't matter because that's going to be black. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to color in her. Eyelid, and then do a little bit, shades a little bit more over here. And don't get upset because the texture underneath makes it not, the paint that you're painting not grab. That's what happens. So just put a little more paint on it. It's not a big deal. When you have all that texture, it makes it, a bit harder to get all that paint in, but it doesn't matter because we're going to clean everything up. So the last thing I'm going to do, now you can use your brush or you can use your, I'll probably do both, but right now I'm going to clean that brush off for a second. Right now I'm just going to use my Micron. You can use a Sharpie, a Bic, any kind of markers that you have, even if they're water. You just want a fine point really. Even if they're, you know, water soluble, I have my Aqua markers, my Pro marker. I mean, you can use whatever you want. But I'm going to give her some eyebrows. So usually, and this is by rules, I don't really follow rules, but by the end of the lips is where they say the eyebrows should start. So if you, that's what they say. Do I do it? No. Now I'm just going to kind of sketch in a little line there. And that, you can see, I'll hold it up. It fits right into the nose. And I'm going to do the lip here, and the eye here, and then go in with some eyebrow. And then I'll adjust. So I'm just going to adjust this. I want it to have a little bit more hair there and kind of going. And it goes into her hairline. And this one the same, little hair on the bottom. And it's kind of going to go into her hairline. So let me show you. So there she is so far. We're getting there. Okay, and those are things we're going to fix once everything's done. We're just getting everything on here to look at. Now, if you have a black marker, like I said, or you can use black paint. It doesn't matter. These are one of my favorite things in the world. They're R2 roller ball. This is 0.7. I have several favorite pens and these kind of pens. And where's my other favorite pen? No, you're not my favorite pen. Oh, you know what? I'll do a list of all my favorite things. You can get very cheap at Walmart or Staples or whatever, but this is the roller ball, and it is one of my favorites, the R2s. So I'm going to go in to her eyeball, into her black pupil, and I'm going to color it in. Now, can you use your black paint? You sure can. But because my hands are hurting today and the paintbrush and everything, I'm going in. And this roller ball has a very good ink consistency. So, I got her one eye in. Let's go for the next one. And it does right over the paint very good. So that's what I really love about it. Now, as you're going to see, but there's a lot of texture on this side. Wasn't thinking. You can see this one's much smaller than this pupil. I like the bigger pupil more than the smaller pupil. Some people might like the smaller pupil. So if you have this issue, go in and wet your pupil. Take your rag, touch it, and like I said, don't worry about, oh, well, what did I do with my paintbrush? That I would worry about. What the hell did I do with my paintbrush? Okay, I'll use a different one then. Don't worry if it goes on the face. Just get that black pupil off. Okay, you see all that water we put on there? And then I'm going to dab and dab and dab that up. And give it a little wipe. And it is gone. You ain't won't get me. How you like me now? Alright? And look. It's still good. Now let's go back and do that pupil again. Make sure it's dry. Take our marker. And because the microns, the Pigmo Right Microns 05, it's called, are permanent, they're waterproof when dry, it didn't do anything to it. Because right now we're just trying to get an idea. And I see that I'm taking it down a bit too far, but let's see. Now we'll go over this with black paint. I'm not worried about it. I just want to know where we're at. And that's still too much, but what I'm going to do over here is bring this down a little bit more. Right here. And I see right up here, and I'm going to lighten that up there with a color, but I don't want that up there. I'm just going to touch it and wipe it. And you can see I kind of smeared it because, hey, what's my name? My name's Kelly. And here we go again. Look, how many times is this? All right, you know, guys don't have to yell at me. It's 3 times. I know. But that's what happens, guys. That's what happens. And I just want to show you how awesome it is because it just comes off. See what the difference, here's what's wrong. And I'm going to show you. This is much, see now it's a little wet and I should wait for it to dry. This brown needs to come down a little bit more. And it's going to be a creep now and not doing anything for me. Alright, well guess what? I'll use my paint. I ain't be needing you right this second. Okay. Now I must find my paint brushes. Okay. Alright. Wiping everything off. That brown, put a little bit there, needs to come down a little bit more off the lid. Even though we're going to be doing a color for that later. Okay, that I think is going to fix the problem. Rinse the brush, take this off, and this is the last deal with the pupil, and then we are done with the pupil. I think I've tortured you enough with pupils. And if not, I'll screw with it later when we do the next part. But I think we're good there. I think that's a bit better, yeah. Because you see the lid wasn't as deep. Let me show you. The lid wasn't as deep down, so I had to make it thicker because my eye was going up too much. So now I'm just going to take my heat gun, which you don't need to do, but I'm just going to heat gun that black dry. And it doesn't matter. It just gives me an idea of where I'm going to put my black paint at the end. It gives me a more finished face. Okay. So, now that we've done that, I'm going to move you back a bit. Hello. Okay. Maybe I'll keep you in just a little bit because we're going to paint the lips. So now that I've had my base coat on, I'm going back in. Yeah, I said it. I'm going back in. Except I'm going to use, where'd that brush go that wasn't doing me no good? I think it's right here. I'm going to use my brush that I was using prior. And I'm going back in and I'm going to do a second coat. Now this could take 3 coats. Who knows? Should I have gessoed it underneath? Probably I could have. That probably would have saved me a coat or 2. But at the end of the day, I love painting and I love seeing it come together. So it doesn't matter to me. But you definitely could have gessoed and then had more of a better, you know, a stronger coat on top of it rather than having to go over 6 times like I will have to. Not 6 times. It'll probably be 3. And then we'll draw in the detail of the lips. Okay. So, alright, we're about at 40 minutes. I only took 20 of those minutes to screw with the eyes, but hey. Now, let me tell you this. If you're doing this and you don't have a brown Sharpie or marker or what have you, okay, and you only have black, I think we all have a black Sharpie somewhere, use black. Nobody is going to do anything to you or what have you. We're not going to play with these eyes until the next video. Remember, we're going to put some white in around the pupil, around the eye for the eye. You know, I'm probably going to use paint for the eyebrows, but I kind of wanted to see where I wanted them. And that kind of thing. One thing I think I'm going to do right now, though, is I'm going to, and I will probably do this with, you could do this with a colored pencil. Oh my God, if I could think today, life would be great. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of take my face, because I know this is the neck. So I'm just going to kind of draw. It's going over the bump, so it's making it kind of hard. And we'll go over that with paint, but we just want to kind of align so we know where the bottom of her face is. Now, if you want, it's probably dry. Let's see if I can get that brown up. Yeah, all right. Because once it's dry, you can't play with it. But let me just show you something else. I know, I'm boring you guys. I'm keeping you forever. It's hard because I have a lot of people who are doing this along with me who message me every day, and I could just sit here and do this whole thing. But if you want, you can also make her face go rounder, make it go up here more. And because it's wet now, it's not going to do that. Let me try a pencil so you can see better. Now hold it up. Now you see I accidentally scraped some of the orange off. I'll go over that with all my touch-ups. I'm not worried about it. But you see how we made her face, and then she has her neck, and then she has her necklace. Now, before we do anything else, and before I close out, I'm going to erase, and you use whatever eraser you have off your pencil or whatever. This was just sitting there and reminded me. I'm going to lightly erase off my pencil lines. We know where the end of those arms are. We added the extra. If the pencil marks won't come off, no big deal, because we can paint over them, but most of them will, because we didn't paint over them. But just to kind of get you. And like I said, we can do more. It's not a big deal. We're going to fix up little bits and pieces that we have. But for now, we got her little face done. And how cute is that? And we're not even done with the face. We're not even done with the face. If you want, take your brown that you were using, or your brown marker, or a brown colored pencil. Excuse me. Erase that pencil line just so you barely see it. And don't worry if some of the hair comes off like mine chipped off. It's just, it'll be so easy to fix at the end. All right. And then follow that line very thinly with your marker or your paintbrush or colored pencil, whatever you have. And there you go. So it is that simple. And it's just, as you saw with me, and also when you're done, even though my brushes usually sit in the water forever, when you're done and you rinse it out and you're going to put it back in, whether it's your homemade, I have tons of the homemade cans that I keep paintbrushes in. I have a paintbrush holder. I have coffee pots, whatever. Just make sure you form it back to the point and then put it in wherever you hold it, wherever your container is. So when you go again the next time to use it, it does have some sort of a point or whatever it's to have, whether it's a flat brush or rake brush or whatever. So here we are so far. Not bad. Got her face done on a textured background. We got some touching up and all to do, but the basis of the face is done. And we got her little dress on. We have her little dress on and her little arms, and we are getting there. So this is very exciting. And if you like this, please give me a thumbs up. If you found me, please subscribe to me. You can click my name underneath the video. It should have a subscribe there. If not, click my name. It'll take you to my main page. Subscribe there. If you guys ever want to see anything, regardless of whether it's knitting, clay, mixed media, drawing a face, painting a face, what have you, just let me know. And I hope to see you back here again. And I will be back here again. And we are almost done with her. So the next video might be a little bit longer because we might be finishing. And I will have my quote that I want to use and everything kind of ready. And we're getting there. So it's very exciting. So I hope you all have a great weekend. And as always, be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody else is fighting. And as always, also, send me your pictures and everything that you guys have been doing. We have a great group called All Things Creative. It is on Facebook. You can research. You can just search All Things Creative. It comes up. It's awesome. Where you can post your work and your questions, and we have all kinds of prompts going on and ATC swaps and all kinds of fun things. So I will put that link below in the About section, as well as where else you can find me. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I love Instagram. Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, Google Hangout. You can find me on. I love it all. You can follow me. Knitting and Things is what it is. And on Twitter, it's Knitting and Things, because I couldn't fit the whole word. So I will see you guys next video, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye, guys.